Sometimes a beautifully executed video can make you come to the realization that cooking is an art, and sometimes it makes you question the sanity of the creator. Today we'll react and test out a bunch of unusual recipes and figure out together if they must be stopped. The first recipe has to be Bayashi. This guy is either shoving raw egg, fish, or beef in his mouth, or deep frying anything that he can find. There's no in between. With a diet preference like a psychotic patient, his previous career actually required him to be beautiful.
Tell him what your last job was.
I'm a crumpy model.
And we definitely gotta make the iconic Bayashi tartar. He's making a Carl over here, completely raw with a bunch of egg yolks on top. Doesn't get more Bayashi than this. Okay, to make it as similar to Bayashi as possible, he had what seems like to be a really marbled, expensive piece of meat. So I went to Paisanos and I got the A5 Miyazaki, $100 per piece, so we better not f up. E. coli only exists on the surface of beef, so we gotta sear it for 15 seconds to kill it. In the video, Bayashi and Carl kind of trimmed the outside and only kept the inside raw part. I feel like if we do that, there will be basically nothing left. So we'll just trim it like this, completely raw, but it looks kind of good to make this sort of tartar. Some sweet bean paste, gochujang, touch of soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, clove of garlic. I feel like every time I see Bayashi on the internet, he's kind of like rubbing raw meat. I guess all the Japanese media that I consume share stuff in common. This is when he adds a ton of egg yolk to kind of binds it together, give that creaminess. But I feel like the difference between American eggs and Japanese eggs is the difference between life and death. So we're gonna skip that part. When we tasted the beef earlier, the fattiness is a little bit overwhelming. But with the sauces, it actually balances it out. I do feel like we need to eat it with some type of vegetable, like he did with the cucumber or on a piece of toast. No wonder why Bayashi is the #1 food YouTuber in the world. His name is Ollie Patterson, and he is the burrito monster. All his burritos are incredibly convoluted but looks amazing. I think he's simultaneously advancing Mexican and British cuisine at the same time. I was trying to find an easy recipe for us to replicate, but he has none. We're cooking this one right here today. He's sous videing the pork belly skin and then barbecue the pork. Orzo mac and cheese instead of beans and rice, wrapped it up with fresh peppers. This is the craziest part. He did one of those beef Wellington patterns on top with the pork belly skin and used hot oil to turn it into kind of like a chicharron crackling on top. This looks and conceptually is absolutely insane. And I think he might be as well. Let me show you some of his other videos.
The trick to making the perfect turk crack, honestly the tastiest potluck selection I've ever had, and her slicing open was looking absolutely banging and red eyes on the inside of these mini burritos, but also to go on the dry dredge on the outside of those burritos to deep fry until crisp, tossing them in buffalo sauce and wrapping 12 of those up with seeds and cheese and seal into one even bigger burrito. And do you like to see used to make a crispy skirt around the edge of dumplings and using egg as food glue while it's hot? And if you really do love burritos enough to make it to this point in the video, then you also love burritos enough to please subscribe. But here's
instantly sold with this one. I'm definitely a subscriber for life. Couldn't find a whole piece of pork belly. Also, we probably don't need that. I don't really like pork. So lean, evenly distributed. These two pieces of skin. And as you guys remember, my vacuum sealer is broken. We're gonna have to do this over the water. Submerge it. The water pressure is gonna push the air out, seal it up. We'll add a piece of weight. 155 for 24 hours. Now to roast the pork, we'll just rub barbecue seasoning any type you want. Throw it into a 250-degree oven for 2 hours. Barbecue sauce, honey or maple syrup. Raise the oven temperature to 375. Put it back in for 30 minutes. Orzo. Such a weird name. Just call it rice at this point. It reminds me of that Rick and Morty scene. Glory to Orzo. So in the video, he used cheddar and Swiss cheese. I mean, gotta go with the Velveeta. That's the real mac and cheese. Some Gruyere to give that sharpness. Probably drink this. Poorly cooked rice. Who came up with this stuff? A Velveeta porridge. Well, let me give it a try. That is great. Just like responsible teenagers before prom night, it's time to wrap it up. All we need is fire. First layer, with a little bit of pepper, the braised pork belly, green bell pepper. My wrapping skill is not the best. I always found it so surprising that just plain tortilla with nothing, after you heat it up, it seals itself. It is looking very humanistic. First step is scrape off most of the fat. Texture is kind of freaky. Now we have to cut it into that classic beef Wellington cover. I don't have one of those cutters, so you guys are gonna have to see me do some art here. That was my little segment of trying to be Michelangelo. Lay it on top of the burrito. Moment of the magic. Can't believe how great that worked. The cross section looks amazing. Dude, it's so incredibly juicy. Some subtle sweetness from the pork, crunchy aromatics from the pepper. Definitely one of the best burritos I've ever had. It doesn't even taste like Mexican cuisine anymore. It tastes like the future.
My favorite Amish dessert. Start with 1/4 cup peanut butter, 2 cups powdered sugar, and use a fork to make crumbs, and 3 cups milk. 4 ounces of Cool Whip.
Honestly, it doesn't look that bad. It's sugar, you know? My favorite part is definitely the crumbs and the meat. You know, nothing's quite peaceful looking as the top of an undigged peanut butter jar. 1/4 cup. I don't remember if this is powdered sugar. 2 cups.
Come back! Come back!
Long live the king.
壮絶な光の彼方に挑戦士は消えた。その名は誇り高きサイヤ人の王子ベジータ。
It's one of the toughest days, the darkest times. But we must be strong. That's what the liquid fork would have wanted us. So let's get back to making these crumbs. Our crumbs are ready. Now we make the batter. Half a bag of jello mix, some of this milk. You know what would be a great tool for this step? The liquid fork. I've actually never had Cool Whip. This is the perfect container for soul food. 4 ounces of that. I don't know how to mix without the fork, man. First layer will be these powdered sugar crumbs. Then we'll fill that. More crumbs for decoration. This will go into the fridge to settle for 2 hours. After an hour and a half in the fridge, this is all settled. I'm always a little bit skeptical of no-bake cheesecake. But I guess just like Ozempic's, a little bit of the chemicals will lower a lot of the effort that you have to expend in life. Probably like a peanut butter pie. It's not as heavy as I thought. It's actually a little bit light and fluffy. It's the Cool Whip really carrying the weight here. You know, we've been sleeping on Midwest cuisine. Besides the dialogue, this recipe deserves an 8 out of 10. Before we get further into today's food chaos, let's thank today's sponsor, ZocDoc. I want to start off with a confession. Sometimes after filming and eating something experimental, it's 11 p.m., I'm in bed doom-scrolling symptoms like I'm about to earn a medical degree overnight. And the worst part is, even when I do want to book an appointment, I hate phone tags, long hold times, being told next available is in 3 months. ZocDoc is a free website where you can find and book in-network doctors, more than 150,000 1,000 providers across all 50 states. You can search by specialty or symptom, dentist, dermatology, primary care, eye care, and tons more. They have verified patient reviews, so you can pick someone who feels like the right fit for you. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score a same-day appointment. No need to call doctor's offices, be put on hold. ZocDoc lets you do everything online. Go to ZocDoc.com/futurecanoe and book a doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/futurecanoe.
If you want to triple the amount of protein in your tofu, turn it into deli meat.
So we already know it's going to be a vegan meat substitute because if I really wanted to triple the amount of protein in tofu, I'll just have chicken breast. If I wasn't researching for this video, I would have forgotten Halle Burns. I think she got famous back in COVID. That was my freshman year, and my roommate was so obsessed with her vlogs. It was his dream to marry somebody like that. But is she single? Asking for a friend. The base of the meat is pretty much just a whole block of firm tofu. She said vegetable paste. I'm assuming Vegemite is a type of vegetable paste. I love Vegemite. I don't know why people hate on it. It tastes like a foie gras torchon. MSG is a vegan's best friend. Some pepper, olive oil, 3/4 cup of the gluten flour. This is gonna make sure we have enough protein amount to assimilate meat. You know, in the mixer, it actually kneaded the dough a little bit for us. It's kind of warm. This feels so weird. It feels just like a softer silicone. It bounces back immediately, like it took an L last night. In the video, she rubbed it all over with seasoning. I don't know what kind of seasoning it is, so we're gonna do some Creole. Tie it up to make it look like a deli meat. All right. Next step. We'll wrap it up nice and tight. We'll drop it into a steamer. Timer for an hour to an hour and a half. Steaming hot. But this is... What the hell? This is very, very bouncy. It's kind of fun. Stop playing with our food. That beef Wellington moment at a vegan household. Got the cross section there. Alright, we'll put these 2 cheeks over here. Is it ham? Is it Spam? Is it turkey? The flavor profile is very similar to a piece of deli meat, like one of those really processed ones, like Spam. But the texture is almost like a really used sponge. If I can't eat meat for the rest of my life, I don't have this, I wouldn't complain that much. I'll give it a 7.5. Pretty self-explanatory name, Scallion coffee. It's a famous Chinese dish. Apparently, this herb is supposed to bring out the flavor of the intense espresso. We chop up scallion, start muddling it to get the aroma out. A cup of milk. So far, not too bad. I've had onion milk before, and it's pretty much the basis of bechamel sauce for mac and cheese. Not gonna lie, the layers looking kind of good. Fresh scallion on top. Give it a taste. You know, it's not as awful as some of the reactions I saw online. I think the coffee is just way too strong. I can barely taste the scallion. Like I said earlier, I like onion milk, so this is pretty much similar to that. It's not bad, definitely not good. I wouldn't have it again, but if I'm forced to drink this, I wouldn't complain that much.
Did you know that if you put 3 stale loaves of bread in the blender...
A good old Sabroso's Tasty video. They really are the new BuzzFeed Tasty for the AI era. We've done many of the recipes and they all turn out kind of similar. Like a mush. This one is sort of like a hack to use up old bread. I'm excited to test it out because these AI recipes is either mind-blowing or absolutely horrifying. A 1.5 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water. Once we mix it together, we'll just let it caramelize on its own. So we're not quite there yet, but this is a perfect time to make a tanghulu. That's awesome. Into our mold. Right now it's super hot. If you get burned by this, it takes at least 2 weeks to recover. Don't ask me how I found out. They're starting with 3 loaves of bread. I'm doing 6 slices of white ass bread, 1 can of condensed milk, 4 eggs. I feel like I'm making an Arnold's breakfast right before his son jerked off his brother in White Lotus. 1 cup of milk. My milkshake brings the boy to the yard.
And they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than...
Yeah, we did. This is giving me the trichophobia. Smells like a well-baked brioche. We ready? All right, not as bad as I thought. I mean, not the best looking flan. Feels like a cheesecake. It's really chewy, but this is very bread forward. Maybe we put too much bread in it. But the flavor is nice. Flan, but a denser version. The edges are the best part. I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, it's sugar, so it gotta taste good.
In Japan, they created matcha ramen and amazed their customers. They made the broth based on matcha and added classic ramen.
Apparently the tea can enhance the flavor of the broth. The biggest problem with this dish is that I don't have matcha at home because I'm not performative like that. You know who are? Men in Soho. We're going to like a really artistic coffee and clothes store. There's a projected menu on the wall, and the paper menu font is so small that you can't really read it, especially the pricing part. And there's like a tree in the middle. This is like a collection of everything this channel stand against. Overpriced drinks and overpriced clothing items. Okay, after 20 minutes, we just got a small cup of matcha. Like, what is latte art over here? I can't believe we just spent $8 and we're about to pour into instant ramen. How we normally cook an instant ramen with the addition of Italian witchcraft. I assume this is from Fortnite. I don't play games, so that's... But Shin's seasoning is a little too red. I don't want to make a brown broth, you know? So I'm gonna use my own chicken seasoning. This is about to be interesting. To make the ramen taste richer. Let's see if it achieves that effect. You know, I don't taste the matcha at all, but it has a hint of vegetable taste. I guess maybe that's what they're going for. Some strange aroma is coming through the aftertaste. It doesn't add anything to the ramen, but at the same time doesn't subtract it that much. So I'll give it a 5. For this next one, I feel like I don't really need a lot of explanation. You guys know what's about to happen. Cold Stone Creamery type of thing. Here we go. Get to chopping. It's actually harder than it seems. I used to love flaming hot Cheetos. In high school, I would eat it in class. I get my finger all covered in that powder, and I rub it on PA's backpack. Time to plate it up. Be fun working at Cold Stone. Very much skeptical of this one. Think strawberry. The creaminess took out the spiciness completely, and what's left of Cheetos is just popped corn flavor. So it pretty much tastes like an ice cream cereal milk. I'm digging this. Maybe it's because I haven't had real ice cream in so long. I only have the low-fat Halo Top stuff. So the Haagen-Dazs, I can't believe how creamy it is. It's kind of almost like a salted caramel, sweet corn, crunchy ice cream with a hint of tagine.
Trying Chinese evil egg sausage recipe in China.
Obviously, we gotta end the video with Foodie China 888, according to whom every single recipe is trending in China. He says it's a sausage recipe, but it's actually just like a spam and egg in a really weird form. You already know it's gonna be the recipe of the century because we're using Taiwanese century egg. But I think it's just a duck egg preserved in salt. See what it looks like. Individually packaged. Feels kind of nice. Smells more like duck poop. Oh, that is crystal black. Looks like a giant milk dud. Look at that. It's kind of pretty. See what the inside looks like. Damn. Alright, you know we have to. So apparently duck egg has a lot more fat content than a regular chicken egg. Well, here we go. You know, right when I was delivering it to my mouth, I got a whiff of it. I almost thought I forgot to wash my hands after wiping. Fermented sulfur smell that's hitting the back of my throat. Let's see if putting in a sausage make it a little better. Spam doesn't seem so gross now, huh? Feels like Minecraft. But I think we're gonna go with 5, so 1 more than the century egg. So that will add salt, pepper, half a teaspoon of baking soda stirred into warm water. Oh, what the hell? There's a chemical reaction going on. We'll add in the Spam and egg. Oh lord. Some greenish hue is coming through. Got protein, omega-3. I call this a balanced breakfast. I don't think I want to use condoms. Normally I would do. I think this dish by itself is already diabolical enough. I don't want it to look even more so. So we'll just do these Ziploc bags. Oh man, this is so cursed. Oh, look at this little pouch. I'm gonna keep it in my pocket and just like charge it at incoming cars. Let's get our microplastic combined with sulfur diet started. 45 minutes. Ready? Puffed up a lot from the baking powder. Time to decase it. That was easy. Oh lord, that smell, yo. Pure sulfur. It was like PA's here and I started farting. Bro, who came up with this recipe? Just realized the strength of Spam. It is overpowering everything, but still that fart aroma is lingering at the end. I'm gonna try to make out with someone after this. But I think if we cut it up and sear it, dump some garlic, soy sauce, chili paste, this could be good. But the work doesn't justify the taste.